He goes! The ball's on the ground, and the dress is in the bag, and the Old Dominion Monarch football team has its biggest win ever.
It's Old Dominion football right now on the ODU Sports Radio Network.
Monarch football on the ODU Sports Radio Network is presented by Team Monarch Partners. Pepsi, the official soft drink of ODU Athletics. Pepsi, live for now. Cox Communications. You can expect more from Cox Business. Switch today at coxbusiness.com. The Virginia Lottery. We're game for the Monarchs. And Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Atlantic Bay believes lending peace of mind goes beyond mortgages.
Live from Cornblow Field at SB Ballard Stadium on the campus of Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, Monarch Media presents ODU football. Tonight, Conference USA action begins as the Monarchs take on the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Old Dominion, coming off a non-conference loss at home to East Carolina a week ago, stands 1-19. Meanwhile, the Hilltoppers defeated UAB in Bowling Green to up their league record to 2-0. They are 2-2 overall. Hi, everybody. Ted Alexander here with Andy Mishaw, Doug Ripley, James Witham. Andy, here we go.
Here we go. You're going to have to turn it up a little bit. You're going to have to get some offense from somewhere for these Monarchs. They're 11th in the conference across the board in pretty much every offensive category. Defense is way up there. Offense has had a problem. Somebody's going to have to turn it up.
So, on a 66-degree Saturday night in October here in Norfolk, Virginia, cloudy skies, breezy conditions, it's the Monarchs and the Hilltoppers. These two teams have met 5 previous times. High-scoring affairs each and every time, Andy. This year, maybe not so, because that Hilltopper defense, oh, so effective, and the Monarch defense, oh, much improved.
Yeah, we said it. I mean, it's number 2 versus number 3 right now, so expect some hard hitting in this game. Expect some contact. Hopefully, somebody's going to make a play on offense on one side or the other so we get some points on the board, but this is going to be a physical contest, I think.
It's interesting. We're going to be keeping an eye on number 10 for Western Kentucky, D'Angelo Malone, a 6'4", 230-pound junior defensive end. 37 tackles, tied for the lead on the team. 18 of those tackles unassisted. He's a tackles for loss machine and a sack guy as well. Oh, by the way.
He'll be playing on the edge. He is a little undersized for a defensive end at 230 pounds, but he's got very good quickness. He is fast laterally. He's got very good technique and good hands. But if you can get your hands on him, if you can get a blocker on him, he has a hard time getting off of blocks because he's only 230. The problem is being able to get your hands on him.
So it's Old Dominion kicking off from right to left in the blue helmets, the blue jerseys, the white pants. The Hilltoppers in the chrome helmets with the white jerseys and the red pants. And wherever you may be on this Saturday night, we appreciate you joining us from Norfolk. Conference USA football ready to roll with Nick Rice kicking from right to left. And going for the near side. It'll be grabbed there, and here comes WKU trying to get some field position across the 25, dragged down there. And the Hilltoppers will bring quarterback Ty Story and the offense out on the field here, Andy.
Ty Story actually started the year as the backup. Their starter, Steve Duncan, looked outstanding the first half of the season. Was throwing for 263 a game. He had 5 touchdowns, and now he's got a broken foot. So it's unlikely they're going to see him for the rest of the season. So it's been Ty Story, a guy, he will hurt you with his feet. The transfer out of Arkansas will put up, he's put up several rushing yards and a lot of designed runs for him in this offense as well for Tyson Hilton.
Cage Walker stands to his left, play action pass, and Story has a completion behind the line of scrimmage. Quickly brought down there is Ja'Cour Pearson. Monarch defenders ready for that one.
And that's something you got to look at. Ja'Cour Pearson, their leading receiver, 21 catches, 3 touchdowns, but he's only 5'9", 180. When they put up several rushing yards and a lot of designed runs for him in this offense as well for Tyson Hilton.
Cage Walker stands to his left, play action pass, and for Old Dominion, 2nd and 10 for Story and the Hilltoppers, and he comes near side, and that pass is going to be incomplete. Intended there for Lucky Jackson. Some good defensive back work from Caleb Ford Dement.
And there's the other side of Pearson is Lucky Jackson, who's 6'1", 185. There's the guy that's the big target when they want to go downfield. they'll use him because they'll just put it up in the air and let his big frame go up and get it.
So a big third down to start things here. First possession, Western Kentucky moving from left to right, and Ty Story. 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He needs 10 to move the chains. Pressure put on by Derek Wilder. Story has some room, and he has a man, and the pass is caught by Pearson at the 49-yard line. Moving, throwing, and a nice catch from Pearson, and it's a first down, Western Kentucky.
Well, there's the feet we talked about. He can hurt you with his legs. Ty Story extends the play. Good coverage initially by Old Dominion, but he steps up, buys time, keeps his eyes downfield, and then finds his man.
2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. 4 wide receivers. He needs 10 to move the chains. Pressure put on by Derek Wilder. They got a first down at their own 49-yard line. Empty backfield now for Story. He brings a man in motion. A little jet sweep action right here. LaFrance taken into Monarch territory at the 45. Garland LaFrance, a 5'10 sophomore from New Orleans.
Only 1 catch on the season. He's listed as a receiver. They'll use that motion a lot. He's got a couple of carries. Moves in the open field. When they do those little pop passes, that actually goes down as a completion for Story in receiving yards.
A 7-yard gain on first down. They're 2nd and 3 for the Hilltoppers, now in Monarch territory in their first drive. Western Kentucky 2-0 in conference play. The Monarchs, their first trip into the league here in 2019. Shows some pressure, play action pass, Story unloads, and he'll throw it OB.
Yeah, blitz coming off of the edge from the safety that time. Bruton. The Story just unloaded that. He was just trying to get rid of it. He knew he had a go route down there. He just...
Only 4 sacks allowed by this Western Kentucky offensive line and offensive unit.
It's interesting. Only 4 sacks. That's 9th in the country. 4 sacks allowed, but only 2.9 yards per carry on the ground.
They need 3 to move the chains on this 3rd down snap. Story, couple of step drop back, little shoulder shimmy, and the pass is overthrown. Had a man on the far side, but incomplete, intended for Quinn Jernigan.
Yeah, he was wide open too. Jernigan 6'3", big target. Just overthrow him on the corner route. Pressure getting to him a little bit. The Monarchs only rushed 4 that time.
John Haggerty is a 6'5 junior from Sydney, Australia, averaging just a shade under 47 yards per. Put up here as the line of scrimmage is the.
A lot of designed runs for him in this offense as well for Tyson Helton.
Cage Walker stands to his left, play action pass, and Story has a completion behind the line of scrimmage. Quickly brought down there is Jakor Pearson. Monarch defenders ready for that one. Here from Norfolk, Western Kentucky, nothing. Old Dominion coming to bat.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Kate.
Monarch defense holds, and with 12:45 to go in our first quarter, Old Dominion's offensive unit comes on the field. 1st and 10 from their own 12. Stone Smart will hand the ball off. This is Robert Washington, tries to cut back, and the cutback allows the defense to get back into it, and that's not what you want to do against WKU.
Yeah, very good defense against the run and the pass. Only giving up 338 yards of total offense a game, and are 2nd in the conference on 3rd down percentage.
It's UAB. 117 yards surrendered on the ground. 2nd down and 10 for Old Dominion. Stone Smart is your Monarch quarterback, the 6'4", 220-pound junior from Sacramento, California. Junior college kid. And he hands the ball off to Washington here. Has a couple of more opportunities, but not much more. Out to about the 14, 3rd and long in the Monarchs' first series.
So the Monarchs once again working without their number 1 running back and number 1 receiver, and was questionable about their number 2 receiver, whether he was going to go or not.
And they're starting offensive lineman,
Salvadori. They're starting right tackle, so they all guard. The right tackle is now the former left tackle, so if that makes any sense to you, congratulations.
I've already got a headache, Andy. 3rd down and 7 for the Monarchs, who need the 22.5 to keep the drive moving. Smart looking for his first throw. Instead, it's a quarterback draw. He's got some room, and he's got himself out near first down yardage. Finally brought down by Devin Key.
Just enough, and Hilltop was kind of playing back a little bit there, looking for a pass maybe, and this designed quarterback run for Stone Smart, who is the leading rusher for Old Dominion, came in with 163 yards, but 5 touchdowns on the ground for Smart. Only one in the air.
Those are the type of runs you like to see out of Stone Smart. It's the one where he's running for his life and is going to get creamed from the offside, which is a little problematic for your starting quarterback. 1st and 10, Old Dominion. No score, first quarter here in Norfolk. He'll hand the ball off once again. This is Washington putting the shoulder down, getting across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Nice second push there from the transfer from Charlotte.
As we mentioned, this was going to be a physical game. You see the lower the shoulder and the boom put on there. That was Antoine Kincaid, the safety. He just ran right over there. The other safety is a guy to keep an eye on, number 2, Devin Key. That guy's all over the place, tied for the lead in tackles on this team. He had 12 tackles last week at UAB. He was in on that stuff.
Off the first down, 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4. Monarchs haven't had a lot of 2nd and shorts here in 2019. They've got one here, and it's a reverse pivot for Smart, who throws to Washington. He's got the reception, a first down, and a little bit more across the 40 to the 42.
First pass attempt of the night for the Monarchs and Stone Smart, and it's a designed rollout out into the flats. And he hits the running back, who kind of gets caught up in the wash a little bit there, and he gets out. But look at this, here comes number 12. That's Lala Davis is into the game for the first time tonight. Thought he was going to be questionable, but there he is.
Did not play a week ago against East Carolina.
Ankle sprain.
Legendary high school player, the Lynchburg area. And here he is, the redshirt freshman with his first carry, makes the first man miss, and is across the 45 to the 47. Lala Davis, the nice first down carry. Welcome back, number 12.
Yeah, welcome back. Here's a white shirt and silver helmet right in your face. That's a heck of a move at the line of scrimmage. A little jump cut for Davis, and he picks up something out of nothing. Now, they were probably going to try to limit his snaps to make sure, because, you know, ankles can be iffy. It can take a long time if you try to come back too soon.
Darius Savage split to the far side for Stone Smart on this 2nd and 7 play from the Old Dominion 46. This is Keyshawn Strong, who cuts it upfield, and nice pursuit there from a number of Hilltoppers, including Jalen George.
This is not super exciting offense for a fan base who is used, well, for the whole conference really, who's used to spreading it out and throwing it all over the place, throwing it 150 times a game. But as long as you can keep moving the ball forward, then you get into these 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, and it's very manageable. Now you can open up the playbook. They just don't want to get behind the change with injured receivers and injured running backs and a quarterback who's taken a lot of hits so far this season.
Monarch offense with the 3rd and 4. Remember, they've scored on their first drive all 4 games this year. Field goals or touchdowns. And here's Keyshawn Strong, puts the head down and has himself a chain-moving gain to the Western Kentucky 46.
Anytime you can pick up a 3rd down conversion against this defense, you're in good shape. 31%, as we said, number 2 in the conference. They want to try to keep it on the ground, and so far they've done a pretty good job of it, as long as you don't go backwards.
Usually a shootout in the games between these two teams. Western Kentucky 4-1 all time against Old Dominion. But tonight probably a low-scoring affair, or a lower-scoring affair. High snap, but here's a play-action pass from Smart. He guns it down the field. It's a little high, intended for Hassan Patterson.
Another rollout, though. They're not doing a lot of straight dropbacks. That's their second pass, and both of them have put Smart on the run. With this shuffled offensive line, you're going to give him a little bit of help here by moving the launch angle and shifting things around a little.
Might have had a little Verlander fastball on that one from Stone Smart. Not the easiest reception for Patterson, but still a missed opportunity for Old Dominion. It's 2nd and 10 from the 46.
And these are guys that can get after the football in that secondary. 4 interceptions last week, wasn't it?
Cut 2 for Kyle Bailey. Keep an eye out for him. Here's the handoff, and Washington takes it across the 45 to the 43-yard line. If you have to grade yay or nay thus far for the Old Dominion offensive line, I think, Andy, you've got to give them a yay compared to last week.
Well, they're getting some traction on the ground, which is where everything starts for this Old Dominion offense. Play action, everything built off of the run. And if you can't run it, then you're not going to get very far. so far, they've started to move the ball on the ground a little bit.
First series for Old Dominion. The Hilltoppers had a short drive, stopped by the Monarchs. Now Old Dominion grinding some clock. Here's Smarts, gets pasted there. There he is, D'Angelo Malone. Welcome to the ball game.
Well, that's a design quarterback run. I don't know if it's going to go down as a sack, but he was there waiting for that one. He is tough to block once he figures out where you're going. He's lined up on the edge. It's a little stunt, yeah, and they just missed him. The running back is supposed to get the lead block there. And Keyshawn Strong just ran right past him as he circled into the middle. There was nobody there.
So it's a Bailey Kate punt. 8-1 last week against East Carolina that was blocked and recovered for a touchdown. And here, Demetrius Stitman will mark the ball down, and Western Kentucky will begin their next drive from their own 11-yard line. 6:13 to play in the first. No score. Old Dominion and Western Kentucky here in Norfolk. Western Kentucky's second series. We'll see about some adjustments from Tyson Helton and company. This is an offense for WKU that averages 22 points a game, about 334 yards. They've got a lot of guys, Andy, that have made big-time chunk plays, something the Monarchs haven't seen much of.
A lot of that yardage is honestly has come from Steve Duncan, who is not here, their starting quarterback. He put up 244 yards a game in the air.
And Gage Walker gets his first carry off left tackle, and Lawrence Gardner has a little something to say about that. Now, Walker has a couple of 100-yard games this season. Not as effective last week against UAB with just 19 yards on 12 carries.
Yeah, and he's not much of a receiving threat, but he will slip out every once in a while. He averages about 78 yards a game. Like you said, only 19 yards last week, but that was against the league's best defense at UAB.
2 yards on the first down carry, second down and 8. A play-action pass from Story, who's looking for some room here. Garner is trying to impede him, and the pass is downfield, and it's going to be intercepted. Tapped. Monarchs come away with the football. Look at the play from Harold Blackman.
That ball was tipped and almost intercepted by DeMint, I think, and then Blackman came out of nowhere to clean it up before it hit the ground.
Story pressured by Lawrence Garner, running to the offside. It made for a very difficult throw. He threw it up for grabs, and it was tipped away, and Harold Blackman comes up with it.
Garner with the pressure in the backfield, and it's Brewster who got two hands on it, bobbling it, and then Blackman just took it out of the air before it hit the ground.
With the breezy conditions out there, and we'll check in with our sideline reporter, Doug Ripley, in a moment, you can't get elevation on those and throw them softly because they're going to get carried away, and that one was fairly easy, INT. First of the year for Story. And here come the Monarchs. Can they capitalize here late in the first? A 1st and 10 from the Western Kentucky 14. He started off with a handoff to Washington and nothing doing there.
That's a very stout defensive front. They do not like to give up yards on the ground. Now, here's the story for you. Old Dominion with that one now +3 on this season in the turnover department. That's their 5th interception, 9th overall, but no points. 0 points after all of those turnovers. They have yet to score a point statistically after a turnover.
Loss of about a yard on the first down carry. Jeremy Darvin and company made that happen for the Western Kentucky defense. See what Brian Scott, the Monarch offensive side, has to say with Patterson and Stephen Williams to the far side. Chris Cunningham to the left of Stone Smart. Washington to the right. You hand it off to Washington. Wide open spaces. Robert Washington. Touchdown. Old Dominion. Flag flies.
That looks like it's coming back. Cameron Mueller's got his hands on his hips down there.
Holding. Offense. Number 65. 10-yard penalty. 3-play second down.
Absolutely right, Andy.
The right guard, 65. See, that's right where the hole is. Yeah, he got him.
Spun him around. This defensive front for Western Kentucky.
If jersey pulls away from the body like that, they're going to call that every time.
So take the 6 off the board from Robert Washington. But, boy, we saw some signs there, and you have a little speed after contact. But let's see what the Monarchs can do facing this adversity as they try and turn the first turnover in the game into the first points of the game. A 2nd and 21. This is Keyshawn Strong. Cutting, looking, trying, gaining maybe 2 yards. Again, the patience from that Western Kentucky defense, not giving Strong anywhere to go. Nobody's over pursuing, Andy.
And they're quick laterally, too. They got some guys that can move sideline to sideline in a hurry. Kyle Bailey's one of them. That time it was the safety that strung him out pretty well. Did not let him get that corner, forced him back inside.
Savage and Moore in for the wide receiver core for Old Dominion. Under 4 minutes to play in the first, no score. Monarchs and Hilltoppers here in Norfolk. 3rd down and 20. They need to get to the 4 to move the chains.
I expect something safe here.
Stone Smart running for his life, gets away from the first wave, still running, and he gets hammered down. The ball comes loose, and it's on the ground, and it's picked up by the Hilltoppers, and the big fella is coming near side, 20, and he's going to find his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Western Kentucky. Oh, look at that, Jalen George. By George, he's found the end zone off the fumble recovery.
Well, the question is, did it come out before he hit the ground?
Defense returned for a touchdown.
It will be reviewed. It's a scoring play, so they should review it anyway. But we'll have to take a look and see. And I said maybe see something safe here. That's on Smart. You got to get rid of the football at that point.
Trying to make the play, but it going up in smoke for Coach Bobby Wilder's club.
If it's not there, you just got to throw that thing out.
I would think before we get this extra point off, they might have a look at this, and Coach Wilder thinks the same thing.
If not, he's
Previous play of a touchdown is under review.
Yeah. Let's check in during the review with the third member of our broadcast team, Doug Ripley, on the sideline. Couple of perhaps turnovers here, some fireworks, but no points, Doug.
Critical juncture in this game, gentlemen, and good evening to everybody watching at home or listening at home. It's a couple of teams that are headed in some interesting directions here. Of course, both these teams are used, historically speaking, to go with air raid style. Western Kentucky, though, has been able to use the defense to their advantage the first few games under Tyson Helton, who was part of the Brahms squad, and other successes there for WKU a few years ago. Meanwhile, Old Dominion relying on the run game, which has worked pretty well up to this point, but passing game causing them problems. And I agree with you there, Andy. It seemed like Smart waited just a little too long, like he was searching for that perfect blade of grass there, to use soccer terminology, to try to get rid of that football into the end zone.
D'Angelo Malone is the guy that caused the fumble, and looking at it at regular speed, we got our first look at the replay, Andy. It doesn't look like that's coming back.
It looks like he's on top of Malone when that ball pops out. He's kind of bent over backwards, but I think unless his knee hit before he rolled over on top of Malone, it's close, but I think that's going to stand.
Jalen George picks up the D'Angelo Malone created fumble and rumbles into the end zone. Does it stand? Obviously a Conference USA officiating crew.
Well, they're moving the ball back.
Jonathan Noley is our referee.
Officials are moving the ball back. So I guess his knee did touch down before he rolled on top of Malone. Here, it's hard to tell in fast speed like that. It's almost impossible to tell. That's why they let these things go and then check it back on review.
Of course, Monarchs had a touchdown taken off the board last week against East Carolina. They think they've been snake bit by the replay system a little bit. And we'll see what happens with this one.
I got to tell you, regardless of whether the Monarchs keep it or not,
it was a 3rd and 20.
It was 3rd and 20, and they've gone backwards. They're out of field goal range now. So, I mean, while it might take points off the board for Western Kentucky, you're still going to have a goose egg in the points off turnovers category.
A season-long goose egg in the points off turnover category. This started with a Harold Blackman interception.
Let's see if we can see where his knee is before he rolls over top of Malone.
A 3rd and 20 play, which Smart got away from the first wave, but in came D'Angelo Malone.
From there,
is his keister down?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the questions. Here's the call.
The quarterback was down at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, there it is. You're right. Look at his rear end hits right there, right before he rolls over top of Malone. And it didn't hit by much. But had they gone and ordered the shorter artificial grass here, it might have been a fumble, but they didn't, and the longer grass brushed them. So
it'll end up being a 4th down and 31 for the Monarchs from the WKU 35-yard line, and Bailey Cate's going to come in and see if he can pin the Toppers back.
Well, we told you this was going to be a defensive game, and this is what you're looking at.
Dayton Wade back to return the kick. And it's a low liner. It's going to hit and roll and be grabbed. I believe that's the freshman receiver, Darius Savage, who made the pickup on his way in. 3:08 to play. Some interesting moments here in our first quarter, but nothing interesting enough to register on the scoreboard. Monarchs and Hilltoppers tied at 0 here in Norfolk. Warrior of the game presented by Window World, providing superior product installed by professional craftsmen at guaranteed low prices. 0-0 Old Dominion and Western Kentucky late first quarter. The punt from Bailey Cates, recovered on the 7-yard line. Ty Story and company will begin their next drive from there. The last one ended in disaster with an easy interception for Harold Blackman.
Well, defense is going to rule this one. So we saw the interception and then touchdown taken off the board on a holding call, and then a sack later, and here we are.
And here's Walker, Gage Walker, across the 10. A 6-foot, 195-pound redshirt junior from Tampa. Nice gain on first down. Under 3 to play in our first quarter.
So, Monarchs offense continues to struggle, even deep in their opponent territory. And then you see, when you get in close games like this, we said it's going to be 1 or 2 plays that can make a difference. That holding call wiped it out.
Huge, that holding call. Walker once again has a little bit more room as he lunges to the 12.5 or so. That's going to be close to first down yarders. They'll move the chains, and with 2.5 to play in the first, Western Kentucky's moving a little bit more with the running game. Gage Walker.
2 good runs by Walker there, averaging 4.3 a carry. And they went right through the middle there.
His long this year, a 68-yarder. He's got 3 touchdowns. Story off to a 3-for-7 start for 28 yards and a pick. 1st and 10. Play action pass. Steps up, fires, ball is almost picked off by Jordan Young, who climbed the ladder but couldn't get one rung higher.
I think he was trying to sneak that over him to Pearson. A little bit of pressure on him. Story had to fight through it again, so he really didn't get as much on that throw as he would have liked to get. He was fighting off some pressure.
How many times do you see plays like this, Andy, where the quarterback's just trying to get it over the outstretched arm of the linebacker? Sometimes they do. That time they didn't.
Yeah, the Young dropped back in his zone. You try to drop it over him. He got an interception last week off a tipped ball, sort of in that same zone.
2nd and 10 for Story and the Hilltoppers. No score in the first. Off right tackle. Gang tackled by the Monarchs. Ball comes loose. Looked like Walker was down, and we've got a pile at the 13-yard line.
Geronda Hall came away with it. Well, we're going to have to review this one to see if this stands.
Will the Monarchs have their 2nd turnover in as many drives for WKU? Or will replay turn over the 2nd turnover of this quarter?
That doesn't look like Western Kentucky's sitting in their offense out. They switched their defense out pretty quickly, so maybe they think it was a fumble. It's Garner who's grabbing at it and trying to yank at it. I think that ball's loose. Let's watch it.
Walker again with Garner ripping it loose.
Out.
And it's out.
That's definitely out. Garner with the forced fumble. Geronda Hall, and 2 turnovers deep inside their own territory for Western Kentucky.
1st and 10 from the 12. Monarchs couldn't do anything with interception. Here's Stone Smarts trying to nuzzle his way for yardage, and he'll get maybe to the 11.
Crowd is not happy with these playing calls. It's a design quarterback run.
Williams and Patterson in. Again, no Eric Kuma, no Jake Herslow for wide receiving comfort for Stone Smart. We saw Lala Davis as the running back. He came back in a moment ago. Robert Washington is the Monarchs setback right now. Chris Cunningham flexed off the left side of the line. Here's Smart, back to throw. Bobbing, weaving, under pressure. Gets it to the 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. And about 7 or 8 from there.
Now, the knock on Smart so far this year is that he just holds it too long. And he just waits and waits and waits and is waiting for guys to come wide open instead of trusting his arm to get it into tighter windows.
Well, and sometimes you're waiting too long because you need guys to get open and they're having trouble getting separation. Sometimes you're waiting too long because you're running for your life. Sometimes you're waiting too long just because you haven't made the read.
And that's the other thing, is that he's just not quick enough with the reads.
3rd down and 8. Final 35 seconds of the quarter with no score. Old Dominion in Western Kentucky. Here's Smart. He's going to take it up the middle. He makes one man miss, and he's going to be gathered short of first down yardage at the 7.
That kind of looked like an option or a designed run. They were running pass routes, and it looked like he had Steve Williams kind of open on a slant route to the right, but it had a big rushing lane in front of him, so he took that instead.
Looks like they're going to bring Nick Rice on, at least at this point. They will let the clock in the first quarter run out, and they'll have a little bit more time to think about whether to go for the field goal and turn this turnover into points for the West. They will be shortly after a Why Not Italian fan of the game. The field goal team remains on the field for Bobby Wilder and Old Dominion. Andy, you think you got to get points?
You have to take the points. I mean, you can't go 2 turnovers that deep and come away with zeros. You got to have points on the board. This is breezy, may be a tough angle, but you got to have points.
24-yard field goal attempt for Nick Rice to get some points on the board in this thing as we start the second quarter. B.R. Hatcher snaps it to Bailey Cate, and the kick from Rice is up, and it is good. The last time Rice kicked against Western Kentucky, it was a 26-yarder on the 3rd untimed down to win that game in Bowling Green a year ago, 37-34. Tonight, he puts the team on the board first.
It's a crazy finish last year in breezy conditions at Western Kentucky then, too. The wind was blowing like 30 miles an hour there.
So the Monarchs opened their season with a win here at their brand new stadium over Norfolk State. Then a tight loss at Virginia Tech, an even tighter loss at Virginia, and a disappointing loss at home a week ago to the Pirates of East Carolina. Western Kentucky, talk about disappointing. They came out and lost to Central Arkansas 35-28. Now, before you start thinking, oh, it's an FCS school, they're one of the better FCS programs in the country, but still a loss for WKU. Then a win in conference play at FIU, a loss in Nashville to Louisville, and last week's impressive victory over the defending conference champion Blazers of UAB.
You can see the growth of this Hilltopper squad from that first week, and then they built some confidence at FIU and played a tight game against Louisville. That was at Nashville, sort of a neutral site. And then taking it to the number 1 defense. So this will be, in back-to-back weeks, Western Kentucky will have faced the number 1 and then number 2 defense in the conference.
LaFrance and Tyler Smith back to receive this Nick Rice kickoff. High, short, end over end. LaFrance from his own 5-yard line, far side, across the numbers to the 20, upended right there, and it's Stittman. Demetrius Stittman's been a stud on special teams for Old Dominion.
That was a good shot right there, and it's something, not that this defense needs any more motivation. They've got 2 turnovers in this game already.
And for the first time in 2019, Old Dominion's capitalized on a turnover as the Nick Rice field goal has given them a 3-0 lead.
Old Dominion had some issues with kick coverage earlier. Just kicks going to the wrong spot. When you put it where you want it, just like that, you put it into the corner, you're sort of dictating what the return team can do, and you're throwing all your coverage to that spot. When it works, it looks just like that.
Story, quick pass, far side, looking for a block for Lucky Jackson, and he's shoved out of bounds at about the 24-yard line.
Now you got to see what this Western Kentucky offense can do, because Story's been out there. He's been flustered a few times, had an interception, then he had the fumble from Walker. The last 2 possessions have not ended well for the Hilltoppers.
WKU, chrome helmets and the white jerseys with the red numbers and red pants, moving from right to left in this second quarter, down 3-0. Story again, a quick drop, looking over the middle, pass caught, and that's Pearson, who has first down yardage out to the 31. Nice catch at the sticks and turns and lunged and got the first down.
Good job by Story. He had guys all around him there. 6'2", 225. He's not a small guy. 15 of 24 last week.
Grad transfer from Arkansas. He played a heck of a game against Alabama. Couple of touchdowns, 230 yards.
10 games for the Razorbacks. 143 yards a game, 11 touchdowns.
Timeout, Western Kentucky. Their first.
And with a first down and 10 from their own 32-yard line, Tyson Helton decided, you know what, let's have a chat. We want to make sure we don't make it the third consecutive series with a turnover against this Monarch defense. 3-0, 14:01 to go in our second quarter. Doug Ripley, it's been slow going for the points in a series that has averaged 84 points per game between these two teams. Only 5-game sample, but boy, they've been lighting it up for years until tonight.
Yeah, and it wouldn't shock me at all that after Tyson Helton is able to get his grasp on recruiting again here, that the Hilltoppers turn it around. The Monarchs are still trying to find their identity offensively speaking, and I think they've found it to some degree with the run game. It's just all a matter of getting all the pieces to work in tandem and operating at a bit of a crisper pace. But I'm really interested to see how Western Kentucky responds. They're trying to beat Old Dominion in the air, not working too well thus far.
First and 10 for Story, and he'll hand it off, and this is Walker, who cuts it back up nicely across the 35 to the 37.
Good cut back there.
Mark it at the 36 here, Andy.
They sort of strung that out pretty well. Miser got some good penetration, but good eyes by the running back, and Walker is able to see the cutback lane and took it for a good 6 yards on that.
2nd and 6.
4 yards.
They'll call it a 2nd and 6.
2nd and 6.
There we go.
One of those number things.
It's the new math. Story again hands the ball off, and here's Walker popping it outside. First down. Garner finally brings him down, but not till he gets a first down to the 43.
Again, starts to the inside, there. Bounces to the outside. He's got a little bit of deceptive speed. Hilltoppers are having a hard time keeping blue shirts off their quarterback and defensive backs off of their receivers. So why not start some ground game and see if you can loosen it up a little.
First down from the 44. 3-0 Old Dominion. Story back to throw for Western Kentucky. Rolls to the far side, looking over the middle, has a man wide open. It's Jernigan. He makes the catch at the 35. Goes to the far sideline inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. Quinn Jernigan wide open for WKU.
The Monarchs only rushed 3 that time, so everybody back in coverage. It looked like a zone, but if you let him have that much time, he had all day back there. He just strolled to the outside. Somebody's going to find a hole somewhere in that zone. And Jernigan did.
You know, time for a quarterback, Andy, is everything. It gives you an opportunity not only to get in the right throwing motion and all that, but find the guys that are open. Story did it on that one, and the Toppers are threatening here in the second. Little swing pass to Walker, and he's brought down inside the 25, 24-yard line. 4 yards on that first down flat pass.
Still, quick hitters. You get into the outside. You pick up a good chunk of yardage on first down. Get yourself established. This is the best looking drive for either team so far in this game.
We'll go under 12 minutes to play in the first half. Monarchs scored on a field goal after a fumble recovery. They've also intercepted one Story pass today, but just had that 3-0 lead. Meanwhile, as Andy mentioned, this is the best drive for WKU.
Watch the tight end out of this formation. He's over there by himself.
Here's Story, play action pass, quick pass. It's complete. Popped at the 19-yard line. That's a nicely done hit on Tyler Smith.
Now, they have a pretty good tight end. We haven't seen much out of Fortenberry yet, but he will hurt you if you forget about him.
Check that as Dayton Wade on the reception there. Enough for a first down.
They also have Joshua Simon, who actually didn't even play in that FIU game, but he's their leading receiver as a tight end with 7 catches and 3 touchdowns. This is the area of the field when you look at those guys.
Story, pass caught by Pearson, and they read that one well, the Monarch defense. Gain of about a half a yard on that one. It'll be second down.
Trying to get a little tunnel screen in there to Pearson, the leading receiver, but the quick Pearson. Said he's only 5'9", 180, but man, does he have moves. Look at the spin moves and the speed and quickness of him in the open field. He's tough to bring down.
Yeah, it's tough to keep track of these guys as they make their spins and cuts, especially when the passes are on target. Second down and 9. 2 wides to the far side, 1 to the near. Bring a man in motion. Story, straight drop back. Looking out in the flat, pass caught, immediate contact there. Is that Geronda Hall?
Yeah, he saw that one. That was a little shot out to the running back out of the backfield, and Hall saw it coming and made the big hit on Walker. From out of the backfield, 5 leaks to the right out of the flats, and Hall's in man coverage on him. He's just staying with him the whole way, staring right at him.
Talk about a big play here, Andy. 3rd down and 9 for Western Kentucky. Little tone setter right here. They need to get to the 5 to move the chains. 4 wide receivers, now an empty backfield. Story back to throw. Pressure, throws over the middle. Pass incomplete. Oh, coming through is Bruton to make the defensive play.
Tell you what, Gage Walker was standing by himself in the flat over here to the left side. I mean, the closest guy to him was holding the marker that said 3rd down. There was nobody in a blue shirt anywhere around him. Story had some other problems at that point, but had he looked and seen his running back, it was an easy touchdown.
So here comes Corey Munson, who's 4 for 5 kicking field goals. He's trying to tie the score with a 31-yard attempt from the far hash toward the goal to our left. Ball is down, and Munson's kick is through. So each team has put a field goal through on their last drive, and we are tied at 3-3. 9:42 to play in the first half.
If you like defense, you're in the right spot. We told you this was going to be a physical defensive game, and so far we have seen it. 2 turnovers for the Monarchs, 1 sack, and almost a turnover and almost a touchdown for the Hilltoppers. But the Hilltoppers have turned it over twice inside their own 20 and only given up 3. This is just defense on defense.
Here's the kickoff toward Blake Watson, and he'll grab it and bring it out from 2 yards deep across the 10 to the 15. Watson's going to get hit at the 16-yard line, stays on his feet to the 20, and the Monarchs will begin their next possession from there.
A little hesitation there. Watson took a half a beat before he took it out there.
Well, and you run into the situation where you want to make a play if you're Blake Watson. You want to help your offense. But did you right there? If you take a knee, you've got the ball at the 25.
Well, you better at least get it to the 20. I mean, he's going to have an earful probably as it is, but if you don't at least get it to the 20, then you're really going to get it.
Stone Smarts, thus far in this contest, 1 for 2 for 14 yards. 6 rushes for -3 yards when you add in the sacks. And he's got a 1st and 10 from his own 20. 3-3.
16 rushes to 2 pass attempts for Old Dominion.
And here you fake the jet sweep, and Stone Smart is looking deep down the far side. Pass is going to be caught. Is that Herslow in the ball game? For the first time in a couple of weeks, he's got a 1st down.
It is. The comeback route, that's the one that he missed to Hassan Patterson a little bit earlier. The little rollout and the comeback route on the sidelines.
Jake Herslow back in the lineup. His 7th catch. We mentioned he missed last week against East Carolina. And he's one of those possession guys who has the experience to run the right routes and get into the right position to help his quarterback. Did right there to the tune of a 1st down.
Dealing with a shoulder injury.
From the 34. Smart will hand this one off. And that's Western Kentucky defense will have a meeting at the ball carrier.
About 3. Now, we did see Elijah Davis for 1 carry, made a couple of good moves. We haven't seen him since, so they're just being sparing with these guys. We've only seen Herslow for 1 play, and he came in and made an impact. So both of the injured guys have come in and made impacts when they've been in, but we haven't seen them since.
3 yards on that running play, 2nd and 7 for Old Dominion. 3-3 ball game, 8.5 to go until halftime. Monarchs with the blue helmets, blue jerseys, white pants, moving left to right. And the high snap gathered by Stone Smart is rolling near side. Chase throws, ball is completed at about the 37-yard line. And a big-time crunch put on Hendricks right there for Old Dominion. He paid for that catch.
That ball's got to be thrown a lot sooner than that. I mean, that route was there. Hendricks ran that little drive route out into the flats and was there, but Stone Smart held it until, I mean, even if he makes a better throw there, there's no room for your receiver to do anything. He's right on the sidelines when he catches it. The best you're going to do is make it even, maybe get a yard out of it. He's got to throw that ball a lot sooner.
Antoine Kincaid ushered Hendrick out of bounds on that one. short gain. 3rd down and 7. Monarchs need to get to their own 44 to keep the chains moving in a 3-3 game. Pass toward Geiger. It's too high. And is that going to be picked off? Too high on the throw. Geiger met immediately, and we might have an interception for Western Kentucky.
Geiger jumped and got a hand on it. It was just hanging there in the air, and I think they came away with it.
Toppers say they've got it, so do the Zebras, and Western Kentucky has their first takeaway of this contest, and it's in Monarch territory at the 32-yard line, and the interesting question will be, can they cash in like the Monarchs haven't been able to do?
Takorian Darton, I think, got the pick. Or not, can't tell from that angle.
First look looked like a pick, and we roll on. Let's see if Story and company can cash in. There you see the high pass. Geiger didn't have a chance, and it's picked off.
Catch from there, though.
Good call, Andy. It was Darden with the interception. It's first of the year, and here's Story. Pass behind the line of scrimmage to Lucky Jackson, going back towards Story, and he can't make the grab right there, and he'll take the hit.
That could be a live ball. If it's a backwards pass, that could be a turnover right back to Old Dominion.
Now, Andy, we've got the perfect angle on this, and I don't think that was an incomplete forward pass. Looked like it was going forward from Jackson towards Story. The first one obviously was behind the line. That's why you were able to have Jackson try and throw the pass, but little trickeration from Coach Helt.
He'll do that, too. On that game against FIU, he ran a flea flicker and an onside kick in the first quarter.
3 wide receivers to the near side. Little double stack with Pearson and Jackson. Quick pass, caught by Pearson. Jackson gets a half a block, but not enough of Lawrence Garner, who makes the tackle at the 31. It'll be 3rd down.
Anytime you see 7 lined up in a stacked release like that, it's usually they're trying to go to him, either on a screen like that or some kind of a stacked semi-pick release to get him some space.
Already 4 catches for Pearson. 5 for 32 here in the first half. 3-3. Another 3rd down. Hilltoppers need the 22-yard line. Story barking out instructions with 4 wide receivers. Looks like they might have drawn the Monarchs off. The flags are flying, and Story's throwing toward the near side. That pass is going to be intercepted at the 5-yard line by Calvin Bruton, but I'll bet my bottom dollar it's coming back.
Yeah,
and we've got another flag. It looks like Keon White was involved with the quarterback.
So not only are you going to negate an interception, so
you give him a first down.
Story's just throwing that up because he knows it's a free play. He saw the guy jump, so he knows, right at the bottom of the screen.
Juwan Ross.
Ross jumped, so he's just got a free play, and then afterwards, White just went right after him. I guess he's thinking if we're going to run it back, if it's a return, he can try to block him. And that might be his only argument here, is that he's thinking it's an interception. He's going to try to block the guy in front of him.
Here's the call.
2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Offside. 5-yard penalty will be enforced. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 4. 15.
Bottom line is it's going to be a self-serve first down delivered to Western Kentucky by the Monarch defense.
Wilder's having a word with referee, and I think he's saying the same thing. He's like, look, he thought it was an interception. He's just going to block the guy in front of him, in which case it can't be roughing.
Well, he can't rough the quarterback if he's making interceptions unless he's Speedy Gonzalez.
Because he's no longer the quarterback at that point. It's an interception. He's the runner, and he's blocking the defender.
They called it on Bruton, who made the pick. He was 20 yards away.
Well, they called the wrong number.
It was White. Anywho, first down Western Kentucky from the Old Dominion 13-yard line, trying to turn an interception into points in a 3-3 ball game. And here's Story keeping it himself. White rolls off him the first time and brings him down inside the 10 the second. Keon White, a tight end a year ago, number 6 for the Monarchs, is learning the bandit position. He's been a one-man wrecking crew at times, but
for both sides of the ball.
For both sides of the ball, exactly.
Yeah, he's got 6 tackles for loss and 1.5 sacks, and he can wreak havoc in an offensive backfield. Had an outstanding game against UVA, but unfortunately, he's also been known to rack up some personal foul calls like that one. Oh, that one, he may have an argument
that he was trying to block.
He was just trying to block a guy, but officials didn't buy it.
Under 6 to go in the second quarter. Tied at 3. Story hands the ball off. Little end around. Stopped short of the line to gain is Jaquez Sloan.
They got a lot of short, quick guys on the outside, this Western Kentucky squad does. Sloan is one of them at 5'9", 165, but you saw the speed and what he can bring to an offense. Him and Pearson, not the biggest guys, but they can make a huge impact.
They do a nice job of getting their playmakers the football and allowing them to try and make plays. And now we've got a first down and goal from the 3.
Well, this is where you got to keep an eye on Story taking it himself.
And he'll hand the ball off, and here's Walker. Walker looking for his 4th score, and they say he is short, contrary to what the Hilltopper offensive line is thinking. But he'll be close, and a 2nd and goal will come from the 1.
Probably take another shot just like that one.
Western Kentucky already 2-0 in Conference USA play. They still have non-conference games coming up next week at home against Army and then against Arkansas in November.
Here's the sneak. Watch it when he lines up under center like that.
Power I formation. Story takes it, hands it off. This is Walker. Touchdown, Western Kentucky. Their first lead.
So they take advantage of the break and put it into the end zone. The Monarchs had a break, and they had to settle for 3.
Points off turnovers, the story in the early going with 4:50 to play in our first half. Extra point pending from Corey Munson, the freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia. Trying to make it a 7-point Western Kentucky lead here. Just under 5 to play in the half. Extra point is good.
Well, anytime we get it in the end zone is going to be huge, and a game like this is going to be dominated by the defenses.
4:50 to play until halftime. Western Kentucky, their first lead. It's 10-3 Hilltoppers. 10 seconds for station ID. This is the ODU Sports Radio Network.
Broadcasting from the Huffman & Huffman Brothers-in-Law studio, this is WVSP Yorktown and all of Hampton Roads, ESPN Radio 94.1.
4:50 to go in the first half. Western Kentucky, their first lead. It's 10-3, trying to go 3-0 in conference play. This is the Monarchs' first conference game of the season. Driving kick toward Watson. He lets bounce in the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 for Old Dominion from the 25. Monarchs need to find something offensively here, Andy.
Yeah, they got to find something right now.
53 yards in the first, 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they're closing in on halftime here, and the 53 yards total offense for Old Dominion. Only 116 for Western Kentucky, but like you just said, opportunities seized by Western Kentucky. They take the turnover and get it into the end zone. The Monarchs have had 2 turnovers and have only gotten 3 on the board.
Darius Savage in at wide receiver looking for his first college catch. So the Monarchs move left to right. 1st and 10 from their 25. High snap to Smart, but he reels it in and hands it off to Keyshawn Strong, who's tackled after about a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, remember, that's a different center, and that's Cervantes in there because of all the line shuffling they've had to do when they lost their right tackle to Saldivari.
You know, and these Hilltopper defensive linemen with Malone and George and Darvin and Jones. Add Madden to the mix. And Jordan, they are a handful to mess with.
Haven't heard a lot from Juwan Jones yet, but he can be a wrecker too.
2nd down and 8 for Old Dominion with 4 wide receivers. Ready to go in the pattern. Smart rolling to the near side. Has Patterson. Now he's covered, and he has to throw it out of bounds. Hassan Patterson went down to the first down stakes, turned around, stood there, was guarded by the Hilltoppers' Trey Matthews, and he didn't make any extra move, and the ball was airmailed properly.
Yeah. Well, it's a flood concept route. You got to come back there, and then you got a corner route behind him, and both were covered pretty well. But after your initial move, you come back like that, and your guys break and contain. You got to do something. You can't stand there and hope he's just going to throw the ball to you flat-footed. You got to move.
A lot easier to cover guys that aren't moving. I read that somewhere. 3rd down and 8. Monarchs need to get to the 35-yard line. And they'll hand the ball off to Keyshawn Strong, who's across the 30 to the 31. And you can bet the fans here in Norfolk aren't going to like that one.
No, they don't like that call at all. But last time he tried to throw it out like that, he got tipped and there was an interception and it turned into a touchdown.
Late in the 24-21 loss to East Carolina a week ago, Stone Smart went back and hit Nigel Fitzgerald on a 45-yard bomb. Perfect throw and catch. Haven't seen anything trying to take off the top of that defense here this evening against Western Kentucky. A Hilltopper team known for its D here, perhaps for the first time in a long time, as first-year head coach Tyson Helton has done a really nice job starting to change the culture. Here's the punt from Bailey Kate. Barely got the thing off, and it'll roll inside the 30 and come to a screeching halt at the 28-yard line. 3:13 to go until halftime. Western Kentucky put the game's only touchdown on the board the last time they had the football. What can they do this time? We'll find out when we return. It's 10-3 Hilltoppers. Hilltoppers 1st and 10 from their own 23. And here's Walker. Let's look at a break through that line. Gets across the 30 to the 32.
Good first down pickup. Walker's starting to rack up some yardage now. 9 carries. He's getting up close to 30 or so yards, but they've been all hard-earned ones, and he's got the touchdown.
Came in averaging just over 4 yards a carry with a couple of 100-yard gains to his credit. And he's got 5 yards on that first down carry. 2nd and 5. He'll try again and not have the same kind of success. Maybe loss of a yard and a half or so. Monarch defensive front standing up, and that's one of the stories, the bright spots of this Monarch team thus far in 2019, Andy. The play of the defensive line and the disruptive nature of the likes of Juwan Ross and Keon White and Miser and Haynes.
Well, on that play right there, it just turned this whole kind of possession around because it was 2nd and 5. You get that on to 2nd and 3, you're right on target, right on schedule. Now you're backed up, and you could have to turn it back over again.
3rd and 6 for Western Kentucky with a 10-3 lead. 2 minutes to play in the half. Story back to throw. Has a man near side. Pass. Did he get the feet down? They say yes. What a grab right there by Smith. Excuse me, Sloan. Jack was Sloan, and we've got a flag down
in the backfield. And we'll see if it's another hit on the quarterback.
Personal foul. Roughing the quarterback defense, number 97. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Personal foul helped the touchdown drive a moment ago for Western Kentucky, and this one certainly didn't hurt as Marcus Haynes is flagged for the roughing the passer.
And that was a legit call. He way late. May have been shoved backwards, but there was definitely a shot in the back, and you just can't make those mistakes.
Sloan, the junior from Atlanta. And here's Story with flags flying, going for it all on the far side. It's up for grabs, and that ball is incomplete. Sloan again, the intended receiver.
Penalties are becoming an issue for Old Dominion.
Offside. Defense number 52. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Now this is where you frustrate your fan base on these types of things.
That's twice now that Juwan Ross has been called offsides. This has historically been one of the better penalty teams in Conference USA in the last few seasons, but 75 yards in penalties last week for the Monarchs. They're having that same ratio now.
Here's Walker taking advantage, slipping his way to the 21-yard line. Boykin brought him down. Or check that, that's Blackman.
43 yards in penalties in the first half.
And the Monarchs, penalties like that just jumpstart this Western Kentucky offense. Give them extra life and help. 90 seconds to play in the half, and they're threatening to score on back-to-back possessions to increase this 10-3 lead. Again, Walker submarines his way to the 19. 2nd and 9. And they'll do all they can just to take the rest of the time down. They've got 2 timeouts remaining.
On the other side of that same ledger, Western Kentucky has 0 penalties in the first half.
Little things that lead to big things.
Well, in a game, you're not expecting a lot of points. Those things really hurt you. Or if you're Western, they really help you.
45 seconds turning clock to play in our first half. Second down and 9. Story throws far side, has it completed to Jackson at the 20. Makes the first wave miss, gets his head down to the 16 or so. And with 32 seconds, the clock will continue to turn. Now we'll get a timeout.
Timeout, Western Kentucky, their second. It will be 30 seconds.
Hilltoppers will take their second timeout with 28 seconds to go. A 3rd and 5 coming up, Andy, from the 15-yard line.
Well, obviously the goal now for the guys in blue is to make sure that this is only 3 points attempt at least. Because you take it 13-10, you're only down by 10. Remember, the Monarchs do get the ball to start the second half, although the way this offense has been going, it doesn't seem to mean much.
One of the stories of the season and the half, Monarchs have turned it over once, coughed up 7 points. Western Kentucky's turned it over twice, but the Monarchs could only get 3 points out of those Hilltopper miscues. But here we go, a 3rd and 5 for Ty Story and Western Kentucky. 1 timeout remaining. Ball's on the 15. Back to throw, and he's going to try and throw the ball away. It's behind the line of scrimmage at the 33-yard line. And finally diving on it, I believe, was the alert Lucky Jackson there.
Well, that may have taken him out of field goal range. That could have been a huge play on both sides of the ball. Juwan Ross right up the middle. We're probably going to have another look at this to see whether it was a fumble or not. If it goes down as incomplete, that ball went backwards.
But again, you see Jackson hustling back on the play to cover it just in case it was a fumble.
That looked like a fumble on the first look there.
Story was going to his back courtesy of Juwan Ross and sort of threw it up for grabs. Whether the ball came out before the arm was moving forward is what they'll determine via replay.
That's going to be a
huge play of the backward pass is under review.
That's going to be a huge decision because if that is ruled an incomplete pass, it puts them back in field goal range, or at least a much easier field goal range. Where they got it spotted now, it would be close to 48, 49 yards.
Another look from the end zone camera here.
Shoots straight out sideways. You can't tell from that angle if his arm is moving forward or not.
And they're taking a look at it in the replay booth. Doug, did you have a decent look at that one? It's hard for anybody to get the perfect angle. "18 seconds to go in our half. 10-3 Western Kentucky."
Yeah, guys, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword here. If you're Western Kentucky, it's either going to be an incomplete pass, which would probably put it into the realm of intentional grounding, or it's going to be a lateral. One way or the other, it's probably going to come back here if you're the Hilltoppers.
That's actually a very good point, Doug, because I don't think he's outside of that tackle box. So it could go down as intentional grounding, but it's still, if they do that, the field position is going to help Western a lot, because even with that penalty, it's only a 5-yard penalty, you still give your field goal kicker, much closer to a 30-yard or 40-yard field goal than a 50-yard field goal.
Our Conference USA crew is led by Jonathan Noley. The ball now is spotted at the Old Dominion 33-yard line, making a 50-yard field goal. Corey Munson, whose longest this year is 44.
He missed his first kick of the year.
Just like Nick Rice.
Of 32, and just like Nick Rice, he hasn't missed since. He made the next 4 in a row, including, 5 in a row, including the one tonight. We're taking a long look at this because it's a lot to unpack here. Is it a fumble? Is it incomplete? Was it intentional grounding? Where's the spot?
The ruling on the field is a backward fumble out of bounds at the 33-yard line. It'll be 4th down. The clock will start on the snap.
Well, that's the best result for Old Dominion and the worst for Western Kentucky.
So we're looking at a 50-yard field goal attempt on a breezy night in Norfolk. Again, about 25 degrees cooler than it was a week ago.
Hey, Doug, what is the wind blowing down there? It kind of looks like it's coming across, but this is a new building, or new construction of this building. Wind could do weird things.
It's coming across, Andy, but it's hurting. It's hurting. It's a little gusty at times.
So Corey Munson looking for a career-long field goal to extend the Western Kentucky lead.
These two have history with long field goals. It didn't go well.
Haggerty will hold it. Carson Flake is your long snapper.
They'll put it in Hall back in case they take a timeout. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say the Monarchs do have a return man back there, because you remember last year one of the untimed downs was a missed field goal that was returned all the way to the 20-yard line. That set up the game-winning kick for Old Dominion.
An ensuing face mask penalty meant the game didn't go to overtime right there. Another untimed down, and that final untimed down was a Nick Rice field goal that won the game for Old Dominion in Bowling Green the last time these two teams met, and the only time in their 5-game history that Old Dominion has beaten the Hilltoppers.
It wasn't Munson. Munson's a freshman. He's got a good leg.
Now that was Alex Ranella.
You got to know. I mean, it wasn't even Hilton, but you got to know they know the history of that, and they are going to be aware of where any possible return guys are.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The player was out of bounds. Western Kentucky is not charged with timeout. It'll be 4th down. The clock will start on the snap.
So it's 4th down and 23 for Western Kentucky.
They might. Well, they're going to go for it. It's going
to be a 51-yard field goal attempt from the far hash mark. Kicking from right to left, Corey Munson. Conference USA Special Teams Player of the Week for his efforts against FIU earlier this year. Let's see what he can do with this one. It's a line drive kick. It'll have the distance, and that will be wide left.
He had plenty on it, though, that's for sure.
Had the 3-iron out on that one, Andy. He got a good piece of that thing, but just didn't have the direction. The low liner goes between third and short, and it's no good. 14 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah,
pretty close.
By much. He had plenty on there, too. I mean, that thing had another good 5-6 yards on it at least.
So Monarchs will go and just take a snap and take a knee and wrap up its first half.
And the defense has played an outstanding job on both sides. The Monarchs hold again and will go down into halftime, only down by 1 possession, and really they should be down by a lot more.
The turnover turned into the game's only touchdown. Halftime, Western Kentucky 10, Old Dominion 3. Blau Field at SB Ballard Stadium in Norfolk, Virginia. A 64-degree October Saturday. The conference opener for Old Dominion. For Western Kentucky, they're looking to go 3-0 in Conference USA, and they have a 10-3 lead as we get set to start things. Western Kentucky will kick off right to left toward Blake Watson, Matt Geiger, and the Monarchs. We're going to try and get some offense going here, because without that, they could be headed to 1-4 before you know it. The boot through the breezes will find its way to the end zone, and the Monarchs will get this next drive started from the 25. Andy Mishaw, Ted Alexander, Doug Ripley. Well, fellas, if you're a Monarch fan, you have to say to yourself, what do we do to move the chains? I mean, the running game, the passing game, less than
let them drop back and throw it. At least try to take a shot. Do something. They've only thrown it 6 times. I think it's been on a rollout. Now, granted, the one that wasn't on a rollout was too high, tipped and intercepted, but, I mean, sometimes you got to live by the sword to die by the sword.
Fitzgerald, who caught a 45-yarder last week for the Monarchs' longest play of the year, is at the top of the screen. Meanwhile, they roll to the near side, and that's Keyshawn Strong making a man miss near side, out across the 35 to the 38-yard line, and the rollout pass working there as Keyshawn Strong made a man miss.
Yeah, that's all on Keyshawn Strong, too. That's a good play. At least Stone Smart threw it on time that time, because before we saw him hold that ball, and when he threw it, it was caught on the sidelines, but Keyshawn had nowhere to go because he was right on the sidelines. That time he got it out much quicker, and it gave his runner a chance to do something after the catch.
Nice move to get past Kyle Bailey there as he stopped on a dime. First down, Old Dominion from their 41-yard line. High snap, play action pass, sending a man deep, and that ball is going to be intended for Darrell Brown. It's incomplete.
A lot of hand fighting going on down there. The high snap kind of threw the timing off.
But if you're Old Dominion, signs of life there from the play calling. Jacorian Darden was there defensively for Western Kentucky, making a nice play.
You got to at least make them think that you can try that. I mean, whether you complete it or not, now you're going to have them thinking that maybe they'll take a shot. So you got to pay attention a little bit more.
Savage to the far side. And Keyshawn Strong in motion on a 2nd down and 10 play from the 41-yard line. 10-3 Western Kentucky, just getting started in the second half. This is Smart, steps up in the pocket. Now Jitterbugs rolling near side, throws it out of bounds.
That was good coverage by Western Kentucky that time. Some of the routes were a little slow on developing, but that was pretty good coverage.
D'Angelo Malone playing a little bit of a spy there, being patient and keeping the pressure on Stone Smart to bring up a 3rd down and 10.
But again, I'm all right with that. I mean, we say live by the sword, die by the sword, but right now this offense is just kind of dying slowly and withering. You may as well take a shot.
Joyner and Brown and Hendrick to the far side. On a 3rd and 10, they need to get to the Hilltopper 49. Straight drop back for Smart. Steps up in the pocket, dumps it off to Keyshawn Strong, who can't hold on. A wobbly pass falls to the turf, and it's 4th down.
You got to hold that one, though. He's wide open. If he holds on to that, I mean, you make one guy miss, and you got a 1st down and probably a good chunk after it.
Well, the thing you run into, Andy, when your offense is having trouble doing anything, every little mistake is magnified.
Yeah.
You know, when these teams were putting up 84 points a game, which they averaged in the first 5 meetings in the series, then bad play here or there, it's no big deal because you're still piling on more and more great plays. Not the case, especially for the Monarchs here tonight. Bailey Kate barely gets that one off. Fair catch called for at the 23, and a flag is down back at the Old Dominion 29.
Well, he hit the kick leg, which generally, I don't know if it's going to be enough for the 1st down. It's going to depend on whether it's the 5-yard or the full-grown adult version of this penalty.
It was 4th and 10 before that Kate kick. And our referee, Jonathan Noley's talking with Bobby Wilder. High snap from Hatcher.
Because he hit the kick leg.
The kicker.
Running.
Defense. The penalties declined. 1st down.
It would only been 5 yards and not enough for the 1st down, so...
You decline the penalty and you get Western Kentucky to start their first second half drive from their own 24-yard line.
Well, I mean, if you're the defense for Old Dominion, you got to be thinking, all right, well, maybe if you're Old Dominion at all, you're just thinking maybe the defense can make a good play, give us good field position. But they've already done that. They've done that twice, and still they couldn't do anything with it.
Turned the Hilltoppers over twice in the first half, but the Monarchs could only come away with 3 points. Meanwhile, a Monarch miscue, an interception from Stone Smart, turned into the lone touchdown of this contest. 10-3 WKU. 56 seconds into the 3rd quarter. Ty Story going to hand the football off. And here's Walker shedding would-be tacklers as he gets across the 30 to the 31.
At this point, as a defense, you got to be thinking, all right, turnovers aren't enough. We got to score. We got to get it into the end zone if we're going to do anything.
Gage Walker in the first half. 4 carries. Net 7 yards. Got 7 on that 1st down carry there. Story in the shotgun. And the ball off. Right side goes Walker, east and west. Now he turns it up, has a 1st down out to the 40-yard line.
It's some of the most room that he's had all night. Good job of blocking on the edge for Western. And he's able to slip outside. Closing in on the century mark now for Walker. 12 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown.
That's closing in. That's pretty wide scope there.
43 yards. He's closing in on the half-century mark. He's on pace, we'll say.
Yes, he's on a wonderful pace. 1st down for Western Kentucky from their own 39-yard line. They've got a 7-point 3rd quarter lead. Story, play action pass. The run will set that up. He rolls to the far side, has a man open, and that pass is caught at the Old Dominion 44-yard line.
And there's the tight end we were talking about in the first half.
Kyle Fortenberry, his 8th catch of the year, the redshirt junior from Opelika, Alabama.
They got some short receivers out there with Pearson at 5'9 and Sloan at 5'9, but both of these tight ends, 6'5 and 6'4, and they'll go up and get it.
They've gotten themselves a first down in Monarch territory. Pass here, Pearson makes the catch, and what will he do after it? He'll find a seam and get out. We're down to the 34-yard line.
See, right now, the pressure is all on the defense right now because they got to be feeling if they put another touchdown on the board, we might not be able to come back from that. So they're going to have to play even tighter than they were. Western is thinking, we got them on the ropes now. They can't move the ball at all. Let's finish it.
Scoreless after a quarter, 10-3 Western Kentucky at the half. And here we are with the Hilltopper first drive of the second half after they held the Monarchs on defense, and they're looking to add to this 7-point advantage. Story to Walker. Walker through the defense. He's inside the 15. It'll be first and goal, Western Kentucky from the 7.
Two tight ends set. They line up, load the left side, and power right behind it. They're starting to gain some yardage on the ground now.
This offensive line has been together for so long. One of just 2 FBS offensive lines where all 5 guys played every game last year and everybody came back. That's 60 starts out of the offensive line last year. Everybody coming back. One of 2 teams in the country, the other Oregon. And here they are showing their wares at the start of the third. And here's Ty Story. Cuts inside the 5, takes a hit at the 2-yard line. Second and goal from there coming up for Western Kentucky.
It's a pretty good-looking drive they've got going right now. Really, the second half could not have started better if you're a Hilltopper fan. Again, the Monarchs come out and cannot move the ball. Your defense does its job, and then you come down and carve right through them.
Story under center. In the I formation. He'll turn and hand the ball off to Walker, and Gage Walker doesn't get in. Nice defensive play there. Looks like it was JoJo Heaton for Old Dominion stopping the running back. It'll be third and goal.
Yeah, Heaton came in and cut his legs out. Good penetration by a safety coming down on run support there. Heaton a chance changed over cornerback.
So here you go. Will it be 7-3 or nothing? What will be determined on this play?
Watch 6 here. Joshua Simon. It's a good place for a play action for a big tight end.
Western Kentucky, they're first. It will be 30 seconds.
And Tyson Helton understands the importance of this play coming up. Third and goal from the 2. On the sidelines tonight for us is Doug Ripley. And Doug, the start of the second half going rather nicely for our visitors from Bowling Green.
Yeah, and when you compound that with the fact that it's a rare celebration for the folks in Bowling Green that Middle Tennessee got a victory, especially since it came at the hands of Marshall, this is a great opportunity for the Hilltoppers not only to punch it in and make it a multi-score game, but further move themselves to 3-0 in Conference USA, which you would have to think would give them quite the inside track as they approach their midpoint of league play.
They're already 2-0 with wins over FIU and defending champion UAB. Hilltoppers are 2-2 overall. Monarchs at 1-3 are playing their first league contest here tonight. So here we go. Third and goal from the 2. Hilltoppers moving from right to left. Ball on the far hash mark. Story in the shotgun. Walker to his right. And he's going to keep it himself. No, he throws it into next week. Incomplete. Had a man wide open and couldn't connect.
That's the tight end. That's Simon. They were looking to do the little Tebow jump pass there, and he just overthrew it. He lofted it. He was wide open. It worked. The play design worked. But instead of just drilling it into him, he tried to put touch on it, and he just overthrew it.
A break for the Monarchs as the Hilltoppers had that one called correctly. They just couldn't execute it. And now it's Corey Munson looking for his second field goal of the night. This kick is up, and it is good. So the lead goes to 13-3. 10:07 to play, third quarter. Can the Monarch offense get off the schneid? We'll find out when we return to Norfolk. It'll be Munson kicking to Blake Watson and Matt Geiger. Here's another look at the Tebow-esque jump pass. Oh, Simon.
It may have been an option. I mean, his first option may have been to run that. And Bruton, the safety, stepped up into the hole. Then he tries to throw that jump pass, but he just overthrew it.
Simon says, throw it lower next time. End-over-end kick from Munson, and Watson will have it hit in the end zone.
So it's hard to jump in, but as frustrated as this Monarchs team has been, Hilton has got to be frustrated over there too, because remember the last two Western Kentucky possessions, they've gotten deep inside the red zone and come away with only 3 points. They got sacked out of field goal range the last time and missed a 50-yarder, and then that one had a wide-open touchdown and couldn't connect.
Can the Monarch offense do something to complement the defense? Defense did its job there. But here's the 75 total yards for the Monarchs. Here's Stone Smart. Again, jumping over the middle, almost picked off. That was almost corralled there by Damon Lowe, the linebacker from Louisville.
That was dangerous right there. They were trying to set up a screen, and it wasn't there, and Smart saw that it wasn't there. Wasn't trying to force it, and then was trying to throw it away, but there was just so much traffic in there. I don't think he even had anywhere to throw it away to.
2nd and 10 for Old Dominion. Line of scrimmage, their own 25 as they trail Western Kentucky 13-3. 10 minutes to play in the third. Smart, straight drop back, steps up in the pocket, has a little bit of time here, guns it over the middle, pass caught by Fitzgerald at the 40. First down, Monarchs inside Western Kentucky territory at the 46. Nigel Fitzgerald's second catch, and there's Fitzgerald making his presence felt. He's 6'5". He's able. He had the foot injury, which kept him out of last year's action, kept his career sort of stonewalled, Andy, but boy, he's a factor.
That when they ran kind of a four-seam route there, and Fitzgerald broke it off, drawing it across the middle on the deep dig route. Man, a good route and a good throw.
1st and 10 from the 46. Smart once again looking near side for Keyshawn Strong, and that's going to be out of bounds off target.
That was good coverage, though. Safety was coming over the top. Key was right on him and waiting for that ball to get there. If he puts that ball where Smart can catch it, it's probably, at best, knocked away, at worst, intercepted.
Devin Key came into this contest co-leader with D'Angelo Malone in tackles for WKU with 37. 2nd down and 10, Old Dominion. Trying to get something going offensively. Down 10 here in the third. Smart straight drop back. Pressure comes in. Gets the ball off and throws it out of bounds. And the flag's going to come in late.
That came in way late.
Looks like Deontay Ruffin might get whistled here. Hendrick, the Monarch receiver.
The way there was separation there.
Pass interference, defense number 26. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
They whistle Ruffin on that one. Team Hendrick got tied up, and the chains will move on a helping play there for Old Dominion.
But you're starting to see Old Dominion step back and just throw the ball. Throw it downfield. No more cute rollouts. No more. I mean, there's places for that, but after a while, you just got to load it up and go get it. And finally, they're starting to do that, and they're having a little bit of success here.
Well, things like that can happen.
Exactly, yeah.
2 wide receivers ready to go in the pattern. Williams to the far side. Patterson to the near. Smart running for his life near side, throws the ball away, intended for Patterson at the 20.
Again, that's on the receiver. Somebody's got to make a move to try to get open and do something. But see, Smart can do that. He can hang in the pocket and make Houdini-like moves to get out of there and throw it away when he has to. You don't have to rely on moving the pocket with him.
2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage is the Western Kentucky 35-yard line.
The best drive Old Dominion has had all night so far.
Monarchs only points. First play of the second quarter, a Nick Rice field goal. They trail 13-3. Smart pass to Strong. It's caught at the 37. Inside the middle of the field he goes. Inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 2.5.
Good patient job of running right there by Strong, because that was a good little screen setup, but he had to wait for those linemen to get out there. When they did, he took advantage.
3rd down, they'll call it 2. Ball in the middle of the football field at the 27-yard line. They need the 25. And they hand off to Washington. Washington hits a pile, and we'll see where they mark it. Again, the defensive line, Malone and company, they'll be short.
You got to go for this, I think.
I agree with you, sir. Half a yard necessary to get the first down. No sign of the punt team. Stone Smart looks to the near sideline for the play.
Well, they may have to take a timeout. They're trying to get their package in now. There's 15 seconds left on the play clock.
Late they send in Patterson and Williams and Spencer, and they're still in the huddle as the play clock's down to 7. 4 on the play clock for Old Dominion, and Bobby Wilder will call the first of 3 timeouts.
ODU, their first. It will be 30 seconds.
Will that be expensive for the Monarchs down the road? We'll have to wait and see. A week ago, we saw Old Dominion score to pull within 24-21 with just a shade over 2 minutes to go against East Carolina, but with no timeouts. The Pirates took a couple of knees, and that was that.
Well, everybody in the building knows how pivotal this drive is at this point. And pivotal this down is coming up.
Conference USA football. We mentioned Marshall losing to Middle Tennessee earlier tonight. That's the Herd's first loss in the league. They're 2-3 overall. Old Dominion will head to Huntington next weekend. And this Western Kentucky team is looking to go 3-0 in the league. They'll go out of conference for a home game against Army next Saturday.
Oh, here you go.
4th down from the shotgun. Bring Hendrick in motion. Hand the ball off to Washington. Washington's second effort might have moved the chains.
I think he got it. And it's going to be, like you said, the second effort because they had good contact on him.
I still quiver like a newborn fawn, Andy, whenever they go in the shotgun on 4th and short.
Well, I don't know about that spot, though. He may have to measure this. Looked like the referee was getting ready to just let it go, signal for a first down. And then they spotted that thing, and they said, wait a minute, we may take a look at this.
Trey Meadows is thinking, hey.
There's still no...
Now they're going to move him.
All right, there they go. Finally, it's going to really get much of an indication.
So Robert Washington, as important a carry as he's had as a Monarch, the transfer from Charlotte. Halfway through quarter number 3, Western Kentucky 13, Old Dominion 3.
Huge plays and huge game for the conference.
3 wide out, 2 in the formation. Play action pass. Looking, might have Hendrick if he gets rid of it. Instead, he goes short. Pass intended for Darrell Brown, off the mark.
There's a flag in the backfield right around where they were throwing that ball. It might be roughing the passer, although...
Personal foul, blindside block, offense, number 89. 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
Although Joyner looked like he had his hands in the air.
Joyner's whistled for that one, the tight end.
Let's see, they call blindside block, which means he's got to be coming back towards his own end zone. Yeah, he kind of was. It's 89 as he's rolling out. He definitely got in front of him, but there's a new emphasis on that this year. I think last year that doesn't get called. This year they try to put emphasis on it, and it gets called.
And it's a 15-yard penalty against Old Dominion that turns into a Monarch 1st and 25 from the 40. You hand it off to Keyshawn Strong. He'll gain 2 yards. Once again, Old Dominion gaining momentum and a little something on offense, shooting themselves in the foot.
Another huge penalty. And then you go right back to running it on the ground and getting stuffed on first down.
Monarch feet this year looking like Ed Edsel's backyard in the riflery range.
So they're going to have to find another case of ammunition.
From the 38-yard line, 2nd and 23. Smart back to throw. Looking down the middle. Still looking. Flush from the pocket. Rolling near side. Has some time. Head up. And will throw it out of bounds. And it'll be 3rd down and 23.
The natives starting to get a little restless here at SB Ballard Stadium. You want them to throw the ball.
It's just difficult when you roll out, or even a designed rollout, because you're eliminating half the field for your wide receivers. And you're making it a little easier on the defense. You add to the fact that this WKU defense is a good one, and that heightens the degree of difficulty. Smart now 5 for 16 for 81 yards and a pick. They need the 15. Stone's back to throw. Sending guys deep. Comes underneath. This is Keyshawn Strong. He'll get to the 34-yard line. It'll be 4th down and the better part of a mile.
Well, you had to get at least 10 yards here to think about a field goal. And this is on the outer limit of his range, but it looks like they're going to give him a shot anyway.
His long this year is 39.
His long as a career is 48, and he's hit that twice. Nick Rice.
This will be a 51-yard field goal attempt from Nick Rice from the hold of Bailey Cate and the snap of B.R. Hatcher.
The wind has died down some.
Turning clock, 5:40 to play in the third. Monarchs down 13-3. Here's a opportunity for points, and Rice has it, and it looks like it's going to be way short. And they come away with nothing.
He did not get all of that.
You can thank that block in the back penalty or whatever they called on Marcus Joyner that's backed the Monarchs up, foiling the drive. 5:31 to go in the third. 13-3 Hilltoppers. After the missed Old Dominion field goal, 13-3 Hilltoppers. And here's Gage Walker going to the far side, tries to turn it up, gets out to the 40-yard line for a first down gain of 6.
His first down gains are starting to pick up a little bit for Western Kentucky here in the second half. The second down rushes have not been any better, but the first down, they're starting to pick up larger chunks.
And Gage Walker is getting closer to that century mark. 16 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Second down and 4 for Ty Story and the Hilltoppers. Do you get the running game going? Not on that play, said Jordan Young. But you get the running game going a little bit, Andy, and the play-action pass game follows that, and it becomes more difficult to defend.
Well, like I said, the second down runs have not been very good for the Hilltoppers, but the first down runs have. But here you go, and throw the third down attempt. This is a Monarch defense that has only given up less than 90 yards a game rushing, and he's at 82 right now.
So Ross and Miser rally across the defensive line for Old Dominion. Keon White, the Bandit, ready to bring some pressure on Story. 3rd and 4, low snap, ball's on the carpet. Story covers it up, and it'll be 4th down and about 9 off the bad snap collection.
So these teams, nobody seems to want to win this thing. Both of them are trying to give this game away to the other squad. I mean, that was a makeable third down, and it just dropped it. Dropped it right at his feet.
Crummy snap. Ground ball.
Was not
picked
a good
up
snap.
Cleanly by the second baseman, and Darrell Brown is back to return this John Haggerty kick.
So both defenses keep giving the ball back to their offenses, who keep turning around and giving it right back.
One punt for 32 yards for Haggerty. Game in the first half. Snap is good. And the kick is a wobbler off the side of his foot. And the Monarchs should have some pretty darn good field position.
That's unusual for him. He usually crushes those.
3:34 to play in the third quarter. The only point since halftime, a field goal for WKU. We'll take a break. 13-3 Hilltoppers here in Norfolk. And for the defense, gets a stop. Ball on their own 35-yard line, needing 10 to tie. Play action pass. Over the middle, gunned, incomplete. Hendrick there, engaged with Ruffin. Good defensive play, 2nd and 10, like the call.
Yeah, that's the same route combination that they kind of ran in the big one that they hit to Fitzgerald on the last drive. Sort of a dagger concept. They send one guy straight down the field to take the safety out and then run the dig route in behind him. But that time was much better coverage by Griffin.
2nd down and 10.
Ruffin, check that.
Monarchs just a field goal to show offensively here tonight. Smart back to throw. Wheel route to Strong, and said they go to Spencer, who gets depleted at the 39-yard line, and they're going to throw a flag.
They might get him for targeting. They're at least going to look at it. He came in high. That's got to be what that flag is.
Damon Lowe, redshirt junior.
Right now, they're going to check to see if they saw any head-to-head contact. We'll check to see if we did. He got him up high for sure, and I don't know who he led with it.
It was helmet to helmet right there. Spencer took the brunt of it for Old Dominion, the
he definitely
tight end.
Right in the ear hole. If they say he led with the crown, then it'll be reviewed. They're still discussing it, though. Unless it's being reviewed right now. It's got to be getting reviewed now, I think.
Yeah, here's our call.
Personal foul, whip targeting, defense, number 53, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The previous play is under review.
They call it on Darvin.
Well, now it's going to be reviewed, and if it's confirmed, then they will eject.
If the targeting is confirmed.
If the targeting is confirmed, it'll be an ejection.
And the design here is to make the game safer. But boy, that's awfully hard. I mean, when instinct, you just have to change your instincts a little bit, just a shade, for safety's sake.
Well, what they're going to get him
After further review, the penalty for targeting is confirmed. Number 53 is disqualified.
I could have sworn that was 52. But they've ejected, according to our official, 53.
That's a big loss if it is Darvin. That's a defensive tackle. Or he may have been dropped out on his own blitz. What they get him on, though, is not just going to high, it's leading with the crown of the helmet. That's when they really come down on it. Melton is not happy. He's still looking for an explanation on the sideline.
That's 52 leaving the game.
That's what I thought.
That is low.
That's what I thought. I was with you on that.
And again, the reason there's a confusion here is because the referee said 3, and 3 is also a defensive stud for
there's
Western Kentucky.
Leaving. And I think you're right. It should have been him.
So he is gone, and the Monarchs are the beneficiaries. And Spencer takes the big hit. Leads to a first down in Hilltopper territory at the 46.
Number 52 has been disqualified. It'll be a first down.
Okay. So that means Darvin remains in the game.
Yeah, that's a big difference between the backup linebacker and your starting defensive tackle who's got 2 sacks on the season. Leaves you in hurries. But the Monarchs see if they can take advantage of this.
Bring a man in motion. That's Strong with Stone Smart now alone in the backfield. Has 5 receivers ready to go in the pattern, including Washington. Washington makes the catch and is immediately cleaned out. Quick reaction there from Kyle Bailey.
It's too much short lateral passing, I think, for this offense. When they put the man in motion, they rotated, Western did, so you know it's man 1 right now. They got 1 high safety, and it's got to be man coverage because they chased your guy across the formation in motion. That means you can send verts down the field and make that deep safety choose someone to cover. But instead, they check it down and get nothing. It's a none-yard pass.
2nd and 11. Smart back to throw. Pressure's on. Floats it toward the near side. Hendrick broke open, but the pass is out of bounds. Again, the man Bailey on the defense for Western Kentucky.
Hendrick he's running the drag route. He's all the way across. Stone Smart has still got the ball in his hands. Hendrick runs out of space to run. So he's going to turn it upfield. And really, I think Smart was throwing that away. He's just got to get more confidence and just put it in there. I mean, he's a JUCO transfer, so maybe he's still trying to think of the definition of open in JUCO instead of the definition of open in FBS. Those are not the same thing.
Washington to the far side. Empty backfield for Stone Smart and the Monarchs on the 3rd and 11. Need the 36-yard line. Pumps once. Gets hit in the backfield. Now keeps it himself as the runners blocking for him, but I believe he's going to be a whisker short on the far side at the 39-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
Well, they got to go for it at this point, I think.
Herslow back in the ballgame. If you're just joining us, no Eric Kuma for Old Dominion. No, or not much of Lala Davis. He's played a couple of plays, but hasn't been a factor. So Salvaderi, the offensive lineman, out for this game. Herslow's made 1 catch, but hasn't been out there very often.
I don't think he's been out since he had that catch. He's in now, though, on a critical 4th down.
Under 2 minutes to play in the 3rd. 13-3 Western Kentucky. Just a field goal for the Toppers since halftime when they led 10-3. High snap, play action pass. Good, looking for Williams. Stephen Williams, former quarterback, has the catch and a first down at the 35.
Well, he just got it. That's a stick route. You just go to the sticks and put your foot in the ground and come back. And finally, they get another completion and a first down.
First catch of the night for Stephen Williams.
That's a huge play on fourth. All you do is keep this thing going somehow. Keep yourself alive and in this. And look how long he's holding the ball. This was the play before when he ran it, but
Play Malone all over the field. You can see why everybody loves him. Inside, outside, to the boundary. Smart has all kinds of room in front of him if he wants to run, but that room is evaporating. And that's a good play there by Jacorian Darden.
it is a very good play by Darden to come up that quickly. The problem with that is you got Barnett out in front of you. Your guard is a blocker, but he's out there for protection on the rollout. He's trying to make sure he doesn't get too far downfield, because if he goes downfield and tries to attack that safety and then Smart throws it, it's a penalty for illegal man downfield. So he's got to kind of be conservative. If Smart's going to go, he's going to make a go call. So it lets your guard know that now you can go downfield.
A go call. 40 seconds to play in the third. 2nd and 10, Old Dominion. Fake the handoff to Washington. Wheel route, Hendrick. And he'll throw it near side. It's picked up. They're going to let this thing keep on rolling. Or are they going to say incomplete? They're going to say incomplete right there.
The late call.
That was almost dangerous with Malik Staples ready to take it to the house.
Now the discussion is he had the tackle box?
Intentional grounding, offense number 4.
It is not.
Spot foul. The down counts. 3rd down.
Well, that's a triple whammy right there as they mark the ball back at the 45-yard line. You lose the down. So it'll be 3rd down, and they need to get to the 25. 3rd and 20. Again, these are difficult situations the Old Dominion offense finds themselves in time and time again.
This point in the game, though, I mean,
2 downs?
Maybe. Depends on how close you get. If you get it up to the 30, I think you kick the field goal. If you get it up to the, within a 1, who knows? I mean, but you have a long ways to go to do anything.
Monarchs down 10 with 27 seconds to go in the third. Smart throws, pass caught at the 35-yard line. Hendrick down to the 33.
Now I think you could
check it. That's Aaron Moore. Sorry, Andy.
This I might consider kicking a field goal, even though he missed the last one, but this one's going to be considerably closer than 51. But
well, he was considerably short on the field goal attempt, and that might be a factor. And it looks like they're going to go.
Looks like it is, but this is not a gimme either. This is 4th and 8.
And they'll get an opportunity to think about it as we are 45 minutes in the books. 4th quarter coming up next with Western Kentucky leading Old Dominion 13-3. And the offense remains on the field for Old Dominion on a 4th and 7 play to start the 4th quarter. They need to get to the Western Kentucky 25. The football's on the 32. 4 wide receivers for Smart, who's back to throw. Looking far side, pass, caught! First down, Old Dominion. A nice throw to Fitzgerald, who moves the chains, but a flag on the play.
This one might be against hitting the quarterback. I think they hit Smart low. Well, that's an outstanding catch by Fitzgerald.
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
Or could go against Old Dominion for a hold.
Well, that's a killer right there, because you just picked up the first down. That was a great catch. Good throw by Smart, stepping into it with traffic at his feet. And it's all for nothing. Now you're going to have to punt it.
We mentioned the experience of the Western Kentucky offensive line and how that's oh so important when you're trying to get an offense going. Monarchs have been the other side with graduations and injuries especially. It's been a shell game of a job to try and put together an offensive line. A costly penalty there leads to a Bailey Kate punt attempt from the 41. Try and pooch this thing deep if you're a Monarch fan. Eschewing the fair catch and getting the ball to the 14-yard line, LaFrance.
Well, the guy who got called for the hold there was Diego Cervantes, who is the center the backup center who's now in because of all the shuffling.
That was Dayton Wade. Excuse me, Andy. Middle Tennessee defeats Marshall today, 24-13. FIU leads UMass 27-0 in the second.
That Rice UAB game.
21-20 Blazers late second. And UTSA leads UTEP and El Paso in the first, 7-0. We're at Monarchs at Marshall next Saturday. Western Kentucky hosting Army. And we mentioned earlier that their other non-conference games still to be played will be against Arkansas. And how about Ty Story with an opportunity to start against his former team? He's a quarterback for WKU, 13-3 Hilltoppers. Hand it off to Gage Walker, and Gage tries to get some help from his tight end Simon, but ends up being dropped right about the line of scrimmage.
This defense they're standing up again. Let's see if the Hilltoppers can move the ball this time. Last quarter, nobody seems to want to win this thing. They keep giving the ball back to the other team.
4 wide receivers now for Story, who's 50.
Right there.
Take the jet sweep, go the other way with a little screen pass, and find some yards for Jernigan, who's pushed out of bounds at the 23, and another flag's coming in.
That was way late. Are they going to call a late hit out of bounds on that? I didn't think he was that far out of bounds.
Richardson was the Monarch defensive back, jumping in a frustrating way. Let's see what they call
Personal
it.
foul, face mask, offense.
Offense.
Number 16, half the distance to the goal. Replay second down.
That's what Richardson was jumping up about as the call goes against Western Kentucky's Quinn Jernigan.
Hilltoppers don't want to win this thing either. They keep shooting themselves in the foot too. Bad snap on their last possession. Here they got pretty good push here. And the face mask, I think, is
the straight arm.
The straight arm, yeah. You can stiff arm a guy in the face mask, but if you grab it and it's a face mask, it's no longer a stiff arm at that point.
All righty, second down and 13. There would be those, Andy, that would call this ball game not the prettiest. Not us, of course.
There'd be a lot of those.
Second and 13 from the 17. Story, half a step drop, now steps up in the pocket, now runs into trouble and is tackled from behind at the 14-yard line. Nice effort there. I believe that's Jerwan Ross. Yep.
Story has not hurt them with his legs as much as he can do. That's a 3rd and 10.
First and 10 for Western Kentucky. And the handoff to Walker's across the 25 to the 27. This is 19th carry. About 85 yards for Gage Walker.
It's not been pretty for either side, but the Hilltoppers have done just enough of what they wanted to do offensively. Just put more points on the board, but also maintain some possession here and eat some clock because their defense is playing pretty well too.
Realizing every point is precious, unlike in the previous 5 games in this series. We'll run down the scores in this series in a little bit as Story goes back to throw on a 2nd and 8. Little screen pass set up for Walker, who makes a nice cut, and he's got himself out to the 34-yard line. Flag, though, is down on the play.
It might be illegal formation, or it could be a hold on the outside. I think it's going to be illegal formation. Illegal shift.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 27 and number 26. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
So the scores in the series, Andy, 66-51, 55-30, 59-24, 35-31. All Western Kentucky wins. And then last year's 3 untimed down epic, 37-34 for Old Dominion. This year it's 13-3 with 11:18 to play.
16 combined in this one. And now this could be a false start on Western again. There was movement on the
Offside. Defense, number 6.
Oh, they
5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's one of those. It looked like Keon White definitely jumped over, but then got back, and that's when the tackle jumped.
Quite a few penalties here this evening in Norfolk, Andy, don't you think?
The Monarchs have been killing themselves all game. Western here in the second half.
And Story will keep it this time up the middle, finds a seam and much more across the 40, slides at the 42. First down, Western Kentucky.
That's now 73 penalty yards for Old Dominion and 4 penalties for 46 now for Western Kentucky. This is exactly the kind of drive that the Hilltoppers wanted to put together at this point in the game.
Converted on a 3rd and 10. They've been helped out by the penalty. They're trying to put this baby on ice. Here's Story to Walker. Walker one-on-one against Young, and Jordan comes up with the play.
Story's pass complete to Walker.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
He had to hold that for a second because I believe that was White who just jumped back there and read the screen and dropped back. And then as soon as he dropped back, he pumped it. Story did, and then White came after him, and then he threw it.
Monarchs forced 2 first-half turnovers, could only come up with a field goal out of that. And off the one Stone Smart interception, Western Kentucky cashed in for the only touchdown of this football game. Here's a pass. This is off to Pearson. Pearson into Monarch territory. Has a blocker to the far side, inside the 40 to the 34-yard line or so. Following his blocks nicely. Jernigan doing a good job out in front of Ja'Cour Pearson.
He came in too hot that time. The nickel, I think it was Geronda Hall. I'm not sure. Came in too quick on a very quick guy. And check the replay. When you got a guy that makes moves like that out there, you got to break down. If you come in too quick, he makes one move, it's off to the races.
From the 33-yard line. Clock's turning. We're at 9:19 to play. 13-3 Western Kentucky. It was 10-3 at the half. And here's Walker off left tackle. He's got a lot of room, cuts to the outside, and he's got a first down for the Hilltoppers inside the 15.
Start to wonder if fatigue is starting to show up for a defense that's been playing pretty well all night. But here's the screen play. That's just the one we just saw.
Great play to block Ross out of the picture. Again, this defense has been out there for a while trying to save the day for Old Dominion with the offense stuck in neutral. It's a first down from the 14.
They're in no hurry right now.
Story hands the ball off, and Walker gets popped by Jordan Young at the 13-yard line.
There's still 8 minutes in this, but it's a 10-point game, but it feels like it's a 30-point game.
Correct. Again, the Monarchs, 134 total yards, 33 on the ground.
Western right now about to cross the 300-yard mark. They got 294.
Heading toward the 8-minute mark. 13-3 Hilltoppers looking to go 3-0 in Conference USA. Monarchs playing their first league game. Play action pass. Story over the middle has Simon. Touchdown Western Kentucky. Joshua Simon, his 4th touchdown of the season. And it's 19-3 Western Kentucky.
It feels like it's now a 70-point game. He finally, he made up for the one that he completely overthrew in the second quarter, I guess. No play fake. Simon, you wondered when you were going to hear from him. He was the one in motion right through the center of the line. Actually, the coverage was there. It was a pretty good throw and a good adjustment to the ball for Simon, who's 6'5", and he can just go up and make that catch.
Wilson's extra points is good. 7:58 to play here at Kornblau Field at SP Ballard Stadium, and the task has gotten taller for the homestanding Old Dominion University Monarchs. They trail Western Kentucky 20-3. Do they have a miraculous comeback up their sleeve? We'll find out in a moment. (20-3), Western Kentucky gaining a little momentum here. And the effective touchdown maker is Joshua Simon, and proving that once again.
Well, if the Monarchs want to do anything here, they're going to have to do something they haven't been able to do pretty much all season. Let's score quickly.
This is not your father's Monarchs in terms of lighting up the scoreboard. The defense is much, much better. The offense isn't. We'll take a break. 7:58 to play. Western Kentucky 20, Old Dominion 3. $7:58 to go, 20-3. Western Kentucky leading here at Old Dominion. Monarchs trying to avoid going 1-4. Meanwhile, the Hilltoppers soaring toward a 3-0 league start. And here's Keyshawn Strong for Old Dominion. Off the right tackle, finds his way to a 5-yard gain.
They're going to have to move quick from here on. I mean, you got 3 possessions here.
Scoreless after one, 10-3 WKU at the half. Now 20-3 for Western Kentucky. There's a pass deflected at the last moment. Nice play from Devin Key.
That's way late. I mean, that's way late over the middle. I mean, Williams ran that route, hooked up, and was open when he hooked up. But that ball was thrown a good step and a half after he made the break. You got to let that thing go as he's making the break.
Halfway through the fourth quarter, Monarchs find themselves down 17. And here's Smart with a third down play. Looking, chased, tries to fake a little something, and he's dragged out of bounds at the 34-yard line, a yard short. That's Kyle Bailey making a nice play single-handedly to stop this Monarch quarterback.
Got to be quicker. Everything's got to be quicker. He's just so slow on releases.
Fourth down. Monarchs need about a half a yard.
That's the crew that's done a job there.
Smart fakes the handoff, throws over the middle. Pass is going to be caught and then uncaught by Stephen Williams at the 49-yard line. It'll be Western Kentucky football.
That was uncaught by Antoine Kincaid is what it was. He had that, and then Kincaid knocked it away from him before he completed the process there.
Williams in his first year as a wide receiver for Old Dominion. Monarchs playing without Eric Kuma. Limited duty tonight from Jake Herslow. Lala Davis, the running back, hasn't played much tonight. Didn't play at all last week. And this much improved Western Kentucky defense showing up when it needs to, especially on that 4th down and 1 play they decided to pass for and had the pass completed until Williams was separated from the football. 7:02 to play. I think we'll get some Gage Walker here.
Yeah, most likely. You can bet on that.
Here's Gage Walker to the 32-yard line. He's over 100 yards for the 3rd time this season.
That's the most rushing, I think, that the Monarchs defense has allowed all season.
121 yards rushing for our visitors from Bowling Green. Monarch defense usually gives up about 94 a game on the ground. 2 yards on that last Walker carry. 2nd and 8. Each team with 2 timeouts. And here's Walker again. Into the pile at the 30-yard line. And Bobby Wilder will use his second timeout. Doug Ripley, it's a tall order to ask this defense to keep coming up play after play. And when, as we've talked about throughout the contest tonight, when you're playing tight ball games, one little mistake here or there can be disastrous, and we've certainly found that out on the Old Dominion side tonight.
Well, and given the low score of this game, I mean, 17 points kind of feels like twice as much in a normal scenario by the way college football's played today. And you could just kind of tell by the attitude of the group and the way they're going about it. They're giving it all they got, but you could really tell that it was a back-breaking touchdown that the Hilltoppers scored their last drive, and they're looking to add insult to injury as they try to get to 3-0 in Conference USA.
And let's remember, they converted third down play. 1 3rd and 10 comes to mind. They made those plays when they had to keep drives going. Ended up with the Story to Simon touchdown pass. It's 20-3. Now 3rd and 6. After stopping the Monarchs on downs, here's Walker. And he keeps the legs moving and be close to the first down.
Well, he did keep his legs moving, didn't he? He had first contact.
Timeout, ODU, their final. It'll be 30 seconds.
Monarchs will take their final timeout. And it looks like it'll be a 4th down and 1 play coming up for Tyson Helton in his first year as head coach at Western Kentucky. He was the offensive coordinator. Remember, he was there when Brendan Dowdy just lit up the stat books for WKU. Mike White after that. And Helton also has his fingerprints all over Sam Darnold as he spent time as the passing game guy at USC. And here he's come and sort of flipped the script a little bit. A more defensive-minded Western Kentucky team. And if this score holds up, they'll go to 3-2 overall, 3-0 in Conference USA, and sit atop the East standings after being selected to finish 5th this year. First down.
Right now, Hilltoppers, I mean, I don't think any of these games have been real pretty, but if you can find a way to win ugly, it doesn't matter. Win is a win.
Well, they're also finding ways to make hay on turnovers. 4 interceptions against UAB in the win last week. Tonight, they picked off Stone Smart. Just 1 turnover for Old Dominion, but they took advantage of it and scored a touchdown.
That continues to be kind of a baffling stat for Old Dominion, because as many turnovers as they have produced, they haven't been able to cash in on.
1st and 10. 5.5 to play. And again, it's Walker up the guts. Nothing doing there.
And as Old Dominion fans, you're sitting here thinking, all right, the best thing we can do now, what we really need to have happen is a turnover, and then we get it close. They've done that.
That happened twice.
That happened twice, and they still could not score. And at this point, your defense is feeling helpless out there. Then what are we going to do, guys?
2nd down, a long 9. Heading to the 5-minute mark here with Western Kentucky leading Old Dominion 20-3.
Now, I mean, the Monarchs are beat up. If you don't have your best running back or your best receiver, that's going to have an effect.
For a starting lineman, here's Lucky Jackson making the first man miss, diving inside the 20 to the 19. Tick, tick, tick goes the clock. The 2-game homestand for Old Dominion will go up in smoke, and it'll be a trip to Huntington, West Virginia next week to take on a smarting Marshall Thundering Herd. Marshall gets dump trucked by Cincinnati and then lost today to Middle Tennessee. So the Herd's going to be ready to roll at home.
It's kind of hard to try to figure out Marshall. I mean, they look so good. I mean, in some tough losses early in the season, they went all the way out to Boise and played nailed toe-to-toe with them.
That Cincinnati team looks good, though. They handled UCF at Nippert Stadium this week.
Yeah, I think they're a little underrated.
Yeah. So there's Story under 4 minutes to go. And it'll be a field goal attempt from Corey Munson. Munson with 2 field goals here today. A 20-yarder and a 31-yarder. Looks like this one will be about 35.
6 of 7 on the season, though.
Again, the clock's just going tick, tick, tick. They'll take a timeout as the play clock is now at 1.
Western Kentucky, their second.
They'll have one remaining.
Now, this is an Old Dominion team. Remember that went toe-to-toe at Virginia Tech and then had the lead for 3 quarters at Lane Stadium against UVA. Problem was they came out of that missing a running back. They came out of that missing their top receiver and missing their second best receiver. And then last week, their right tackle gets hurt early in the game. So, I mean, they're down a lot of guys. This wasn't going to be a powerhouse offense to start with. Even if it's at 100%, they're not going to be lining it up like they have in the past. And when you take those guys out, an already sort of slower offense goes even slower. They just could not get it into gear. This may have been the worst performance they've had all season tonight.
It'll be a 36-yard field goal attempt for the Atlantic Bay Football Complex to our right. Corey Munson looking for his 3rd field goal of the evening. And this kick is no good.
Hold it.
No good. 3:17 to play. 20-3. Western Kentucky leads Old Dominion. We're back in a moment. Monarchs have a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And we've got whistles and arms waving.
That was unofficial. That wasn't on the field. Or he's coming back.
I believe he's coming back. So we've got a full complement of officials. Conference USA crew, led by Jonathan Noli. And here we go. From the far hash mark, moving right to left, Stone Smarts is back to throw. Pressured from the pocket, and he will go down at the 14-yard line. And guess who? D'Angelo Malone.
He's been quiet for the second half. But he made one heck of a play in the first half that pushed the Monarchs out of a scoring range.
Monarchs quickly will get to a 4 wide receiver set and hand the ball off. And here's Keyshawn Strong. Nice move through the line. We'll have a 1st down out near the 30-yard line. What a run of the season for Keyshawn Strong.
But anything you can get positive, take.
Clock continues to turn. Monarchs out of timeouts, down 17, and here's Strong, and he gets popped right there. We've seen this young man hit some folks tonight. Kyle Bailey.
There comes Davis into the game for maybe the 2nd time.
Then they'll make him run back out. So Strong remains in there on a 2nd down and 7. Here's Smarts looking over the middle. Dumps the ball off and had Strong, but not enough lift on that pass. Really pushing and shoving. Barnett for the Monarchs.
I think he may have hit Barnett with that pass. He was trying to go to Strong again over the middle.
3rd down, 7. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play, and Stone Smart will try and lace it up once again. Goes far side, has a man, as Darryl Brown. What a sure tackle on the far side. Is that Darden? What a nice tackle in open field where it's either you tackle the guy or he gets a 1st down.
That was quicker, but again, that ball was a little late, and it was a good tackle on the open field.
4th down and 3. Monarchs will go again. And here's Smart. Smart delivers it to Davis, who's brought down immediately. That's Bailey. You know, here's a stat for you. Last 3 games, Western Kentucky hasn't given up a point in the 4th quarter. And it looks like it's going to be 4 in a row.
Davis is limping now as he's trying to get off the field after that.
Messiah DeWeaver. Not going to come in. Thought he might be coming in there, but the 7 was Harrison Blackman.
So Davis is obviously still not healthy. I mean, he came in and he was limping a lot after that. Kyle Bailey there's played a pretty good game. As has this entire Western Kentucky defensive unit, and they are going to spark a win again for the Hilltoppers, who are going to be 3-0 in the conference.
Harold Blackman's had a solid game for Old Dominion. Looked like his pick might get the Monarchs off to a fast start, but no. 2 first-half turnovers only led to 3 points for Old Dominion. That field goal coming on the first play of the second quarter gave the Monarchs the 3-0 lead, but 20 unanswered from Tyson Helton's Hilltoppers. And WKU will go to 3-0 in Conference USA, 3-2 overall.
For the Old Dominion fans, there's still a lot of questions to be had out there, and doesn't look like they're going to have a lot of answers anytime soon on offense. I mean, Davis, you saw him limping. He's not much he can do. He's still not 100% or anywhere near it. I mean, they've played some very good defenses the last month, including this one, including UVA. East Carolina's got a pretty good defense, but I mean, they got to find some way to move the football.
Stone Smarts at this juncture, 11 for 27, 105 yards and an interception. And that should be the last snap of our contest here tonight. And Western Kentucky has come to Norfolk and defeated Bobby Wilder and the Old Dominion Monarchs with 20 unanswered points. 20-3 the final score. They led 10-3 at the half, Andy, and outscored the Monarchs 10-0 in the second half.
Now, we thought it was going to be a defensive battle, and it was, but the Hilltoppers made less mistakes and got the key plays on offense when they needed to get them, and final score shows it.
We knew coming in that it was going to be the team that could create some offense here and there that would have the advantage, and early on it was the Monarch defense making some noise. Harold Blackman here making the interception. You thought the Monarchs were in business here at home with the ball inside the 15, but they couldn't cash in.
Twice they had turnovers inside the 20, and then when the Hilltoppers had to have it, they go to Simon over the middle at the play fake off the motion, and that's the one that finished it.
Final score, Western Kentucky 20, Old Dominion 3. For Andy Mishaw and Doug Ripley, I'm Ted Alexander saying so long from Cornblow Field at SB Ballard Stadium. Our final score, Western Kentucky goes to 3-0 in Conference USA. They defeat Old Dominion 20-3. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.